Because the man that you're backing, Robert Gingrich, in a speech yesterday or today said that basically this party will die unless it leaves the Eckrits. Time for this country to take control of its borders, control of what it believes. And that's the language, I have to say, Matt, that many people who were traditional Tories were listening to. From reform generic for you is the answer is he definitely is. It's the common sense that the people are stocked in West, that the well people all over the country are craving. He's been out there. He's knocked on the doors. He knows where we went wrong at the last election. He's got the answer as we marched forward, but he was also telling us that leaving the ECR is not just about sorting our borders, but it's also about the impact on law and order in this country and the fact that we can't deport some of the people who've committed heinous crimes. In this country, we need to get on with it. There's a mission there. There's a man with a plan. He's been under the bonnet. He's been in the Home Office. He knows the answer's a time to get on with it. Time to get him elected. Time to get back to the election and get him into number 10, right? So answer me truthfully and honestly, cuz you are a bunch of devious people. And P.S. aren't you there? You are one of 121. You got 4 candidates standing, and it's all about when do I show my hand. If I show too early and I'm wrong, I'm going to be on the backbenches forever. Has Robert Dree offered you a job for coming out so publicly? In fact, you're wearing his name on your jumper. Has he promised you a job, Matt Vickers? I'm out here with me generic t-shirt on. I've got me generic bad. I've got me Jenner lanyard. I've got me generic mug in the tell, because I think he's got the answer. I think he's the right person to take this party ward a job. Matt, he hasn't. I had a job before I did this. I used to be the deputy chairman of this party, and I had to give it up in order to come out for this guy because I think he's got the answer's interesting. Can I ask, can I go a bit off? Not off, but KY Butte, who sort of was the darling of the Tory membership and seemed to be led. This is just a personal opinion. I'm sure she's very good. I fear she might not be. I don't know, not experienced enough, but for me it's all about ideology today. She's talking about, quite rightly, the color of your skin shouldn't be important. She talks about maternity pay. She talks about, to me, the culture wars is fine. This station is anti-woke. I hate all that rubbish, but Gingrich seems to be talking, if you like, the sort of things that if you went across the country, immigration law and order, low taxation is what traditional tourists used to associate with the party. Am I think too right? I think you're right. He's on the money. He knows what people out there are concerned about, but more than that, he's got the solutions for the next generation as well. He's looking at how we solve the housing crisis so that young people can get a foot on the ladder, own something in this world, in this country, and move themselves forward. He was doing that at the MHCLG. He's got a lot of ideas. He's communicating properly of all the candidates out there. I think JCK is extending himself on social media, speaking to the sort of people we need to speak to ahead of the election, to hear what's on their mind, but also to work out what the solutions are to their problems. Can I ask you about something that happened over the weekend that I haven't asked the first 2 guests today, and I should have? It's my fault. Rosie Duffield, I'm public going to say, is a shining example of what an MP should be. She's a Labour MP, or she was until the weekend, who stood up for women's rights in the transgender argument. She got absolutely slaughtered, and I could never understand, because was in the studio when Pierce interviewed her and J.K. Rowling came out. She's the woman who basically says, I'm protecting with WOM's rights. There are many women who don't believe that transitioning a transgender people should be in the same changing rooms. Blah, blah. She been castigated. She left the Labour Party on Saturday, 12 weeks after that general election victory, saying the Starmer and his government are more about greed and power than making a difference. His refusal to apologize is unbelievable, and we are being exploited and taken for granted. That is unbelievable after 3 months, isn't it? I think for all the cynicism people might have about politicians, you guys have lots of it, but every now and again, you see a politician who puts principles ahead of their own career, ahead of a head of party politics, and she is one such example. But actually a few weeks ago we saw lots of others do the same when they went out and voted against the winter fuel. Well, the axing of the winter fuel payments. We need more imps like Rosie Duffield. She's done the right thing. She's standing up to what the public out there are seeing. They're disgusted with what's gone into number 10. They did not expect anything like what they've seen, whether it be all the hypocrisy, whether it be all the junkets, their passes for glasses, the new dresses, the new glasses, the whatever it might be. And actually when they see what they're doing to Britain's pensioners, people aren't impressed. They've had enough of Labour already. I've had a text him from Robert Ginrick. He's watching this. He says he's happy you're wearing the t-shirt. He's a bit hacked off. You're wearing a Liberal Democrat yellow-tied visor. What's the matter with you, man? Oh, just tell him. Apologies, but he didn't give me a tie to wear. We'll have to ask for a tie later on. Maybe. Good man, enjoy the rest of it. The excellent Matt Vickers. We love having him on Shadow Police and Crime Person Minister, whatever. He's come out and supporting Robert JRY to the phone lines really quickly. We'll head north to Asia. Ian, you're on Talk Drive 2 minutes only, pal. What you got? Why don't Labour use Labour headquarters for all things? Yes, whatever. Lord Ollie, yeah. Why use his PY? Not just go to Lib headquarters? 'Cause I'll tell you exactly why they won't use Labour headquarters. Because Lord Ollie has a £4 million Soho townhouse they've been using for a year. He's got an £18 million St. Garden penthouse. Don't have a problem with success. Not sure that Starmer. It looks great to go. My kid needed to study for his GCS 'cause I thought the Labour Party was the party of working people, and I wonder how many working people their kids have to survive in a two-bedroom department or a two-room department. So to me the reason this is so appalling, mate, right, Ian, is this further proves that the Labour Party does not care about the working man and working woman of Britain. This is an important moment in British politics, whether it's Reform, I think it might be, or the Tory Party getting their heads out of their backsides. There needs to be this realization that the Labour Party does not talk for the working man and woman north of what for gap. Those are the people. Those are the people that genuinely decide who the next government will be, and these people do not favor Labour right now, and they see the tourists as a shambles in an ASA. Thank you so much indeed. As we conclude our discussion on Rosie Duffield's resignation from the Labour Party, it's essential to recognize the broader implications this moment has for both the party and the UK's political landscape. Duffield's departure highlights a growing discontent among voters who feel increasingly alienated by a party that seems to prioritize political maneuvering over genuine representation. Her outspoken stance on women's rights and her criticism of the party's direction under Keir Starmer resonate with many who are frustrated by what they perceive as a disconnect between party leadership and the working class communities that Labour has traditionally championed. This disillusionment reflects a yearning for authenticity in politics, a call for leaders who will prioritize the needs and values of their constituents rather than adhering strictly to party lines. The challenges facing the Labour Party are not isolated but mirror a larger crisis within British politics, where voters are increasingly seeking alternatives to the established parties. As public trust in traditional political structures wanes, there is a significant opportunity for new voices and movements to emerge. Voters are hungry for fresh ideas and genuine engagement, and they want representatives who will listen to their concerns and act accordingly. This landscape of discontent presents a chance for political renewal where parties must adapt and evolve to meet the needs of a diverse electorate. As we look to the future, it is vital for all political entities to reflect on their core values and ensure they remain connected to the communities they serve. Ultimately, Rosie Duffield's resignation serves as a pivotal moment that underscores the importance of political integrity and accountability. It's a reminder that politicians should prioritize the voices of their constituents over party loyalty, fostering an environment where dissenting opinions can be expressed without fear of retribution as citizens. We must remain engaged in the political process, advocating for our rights and demanding that our leaders truly represent our interests. In doing so, we can work towards a more responsive and inclusive political landscape that honors the diverse needs of the people across the UK. Thank you for being part of this discussion, and we